Tell me that your husband doesn't love you anymore without actually telling me your husband doesn't love you anymore. I'll go first. So last night, my husband and I were laying in bed, and I asked him, I said, do you think that when we die, we're going to still be married in heaven? Like, do you think there's marriages in heaven? And do you think that we're going to be married when we die and go to heaven? And he said, I don't know. So.
And what does me having 7 kids have to do with anything?
Oh dear.
I didn't ask nobody to take care of my kids. I asked for y'all to, when y'all come in my DM, to be ready to provide a little something for me.
Satire, right? This has got to be satire.
I said I needed my nails done and I need a new oil change. Y'all can't do that?
Please tell me this is satire, because if it's not, oh my goodness, are they in for a rude awakening?
Men are supposed to be providers, right? And women are supposed to be the nurturers. Why y'all don't want to provide?
Now, I'm just guessing here, but it might have something to do with someone's rather proven poor track record at good decision-making skills, which would make any man, I think, hesitant to commit to any kind of providing.
My 7 kids are good, though. Let's go ahead and get that straight. My 7 kids are good.
Well, that's very good news, and I'm very happy to hear that.
I get like $2,100 in food stamps, and my kids get Medicaid insurance.
Fantastic.
And 4 of them have daddies. So let's not.
4. Okay. And I'm going with my original thought here. I really hope that this is a joke.
I said me. That's it. That's all.
Even if this is satire, the sad part is there's still a lot of women out there with this type of mentality that still view themselves as the prize to be won, even after it's been given to a lot of guys.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I really hope this is satire, because if it's not, we're witnessing the total collapse of common sense. 7 kids, only 4 with a father, and yet this woman still believes that any man who talks to her should show up with cash in hand, like it's some kind of tax for saying hello. And the worst part isn't just the number of kids, it's the attitude, like she's the prize. Woman, you've hit the wall, with a sky-high body count, living off food stamps and Medicaid. And thinking the next guy is going to pay for your oil change and your nails? This is exactly what happens when self-esteem gets more inflated than reality. But don't go anywhere, because in the next video, we're going to look at this from a father's perspective.
What's going down, TikTok Nation? It is 12:56 here in Fort Worth, Texas, and today is a good day, y'all. Today represents a new life for me, a new freedom, a new start. Right now. It's been a struggle. You know, I was a fireman for 22 years and retired, divorced, and the last 5 years have been, it's been a struggle. The last few have been really hard, and lost a lot of so-called friends and family. It's all good. But today is a good day, y'all. Today represents me taking my life back and being able to make decisions and do things that I want to do when I want to do them, and represents me being able to spend my money that I'm making when and where I want to and who I want to do it with. Having no power over me any longer. That's it. You know, this is to all you divorced dads out there that have always given everything you had, every dime, all the time you could give. You showed your kids you loved them. I'm not saying you were perfect. None of us are. We all have our demons and our struggles. But you still gave everything you had to your kids, and you still do, no matter what. Even when you had nothing to give. I'm not talking about you dads that didn't want anything to do with your kids in the first place and didn't give everything you had and didn't want to spend time with them and complained and griped about, you know, having to do it afterwards. But this is for all you dads out there that have struggled and still are struggling right now. I got much love for you now. It matters. Don't worry about what people say. I lost a lot of friends, so-called friends, and family members and all of that, but it's all good. And I'm sure you have too. But what you do and what you have done matters. And I got much love for all of you. So to all you divorced dads out there that have and always have given everything, I got much love for you. New freedom, y'all. Time for Mark's Garage 5 to go grow, help change people's lives, change young athletes and kids' lives, and just try to be better every single day. I'm thankful to be here, y'all. It's a good day. Mark's Garage 5 Nation is growing and rolling. Love y'all. Peace.
We always see videos of women talking about their rebirth after a divorce, but we rarely hear the voice of the man left with nothing. 43% of divorces happen between the ages of 45 and 53. Right when a man is one step away from retirement, when he can finally spend more time at home, and that's exactly when he gets thrown out. That's no coincidence. It's when he's no longer producing the same, when the household income drops, when he finally wants to enjoy what he built. And what does he get in return? Divorce, total loss, and a society that still blames him. This man said it clearly. He lost his home, his kids, friends, family, but even so, he got back up. That's why I always respect the man who rebuilds himself after divorce, because he doesn't just lose material things, he loses his identity. So yes, brother, take care of your body, your mind, and your finances, because when the storm hits, and believe me, it can, you'd better be standing strong.
This is just my opinion, but divorced men and baby dads or single dads are a little scary. Why? Because what you do. Because that woman is going to fight for her family. You already got 365 million fucking chances. We already know that. Especially if we have kids, we know that. And it might be a double standard because I have kids. I just feel like it's different dating a man with kids because why are you single together? I know there had to be something pretty big for her to be like, all right, yeah, get the fuck out. And it comes down to things too, like I've been in relationships where you're like, okay, leave. I'm leaving. And all they do is they just strategize all the ways to make it normal so you stay. So like, she already went through all that time of like staying even after she was checked out. So what did you do?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
I think this is the same question a lot of men ask themselves when dating a single mother. You already had a provider, a home, a man who let you keep the kids, and you still left him? It's fine if the guy failed you, if he cheated. I get it. But not all men cheat. And with a divorce rate where 80% are initiated by women, and only about 25% are due to emotional disconnection, which often just means I got bored, it's pretty hypocritical to now dismiss men with kids when you're bringing baggage yourself. You had your family, you broke it, and now you expect another man, one with no kids, no past, no mistakes, to step in and help raise another man's seed, while you look down on single fathers like they're intimidating. And you're not? You deserve a second chance, but they don't? That's God-level hypocrisy. Let's keep going.
If you are a single mom, then what did you do wrong? That's my first question. The craziest thing about this whole post is this whole idea that I know women made it work. I know women did everything they could. Last time I checked, 28% of women quit therapy when they're held accountable, or they quit therapy when the therapist doesn't side with them and takes their husband's side. But y'all never want to talk about that. And y'all never want to talk about how you berate your husbands, how you come online and talk shit about your husbands for external validation. Y'all don't want to talk about how you emasculated him for years and belittled him for little things, how you only decided to focus on the one thing he did wrong instead of the 1,000 things that he's doing right. Then you mentioned in this video that you were checked out of a relationship, or women check out of a relationship, and you think that that's socially acceptable to just check out of your relationship rather than sitting down your partner and saying that you have problems with X, Y, and Z. Maybe he didn't hear you in the passive aggressive behavior. Maybe he didn't hear you in the eye rolling or the yelling or the nagging, or that was the first thing out of your mouth when he walked in after a long day. When was the last time that you had a meetup, a sit down with your partner or your significant other and went over like just basic necessities of what you both need in a relationship without turning it back on him? When a man talks to you about the finances within the family because you want to go to Target and Starbucks all the time, you think it's controlling, even though he's trying to save the family from financial ruin. When he brings up his feelings, you want to turn it around and bring up something that happened 3 weeks ago to deflect it back onto yourself without ever addressing or trying to understand a man's experience. And let's not forget the amount of times he tried to be open with you and vulnerable with you and share his feelings with you, and all you did was emasculate him or make him feel small to a point where he stopped talking to you. But is that reflective of women trying to make it work? Because you hear this time and time again all over social media. I see it in my comments every single day. I have men reaching out to me, telling me their stories, how their women literally make them feel so small, make them feel like nothing, that they're invisible to the world because their wives don't appreciate them, they aren't loyal, they're on their phones, Snapchat and, guys in their DMs are more important and give them more validation than what they're doing on the day-to-day.
Damn, what a powerful message from this woman. She spit fire and raw truth without a filter. There's nothing to add. This was a sermon straight from the male soul, but spoken by a woman. And that makes it 1,000 times more powerful. Because she's not guessing. She's saying exactly what we men think, but no one dares to say out loud. Brothers, let this woman keep preaching, because she's saying what many stay silent about and what way too many need to hear.
And y'all don't ever want to acknowledge that the only reason that relationships even last as long as they do is because men are able to adapt to the ever-changing goalposts that women set. So every time you ask for something and he reaches for it and he makes that goal, you change it. And then he meets that goal and then you change it. And then he meets the next goal and you change it, and so on and so on. And the only reason that the relationship even lasts as long as it does is because he shows that he adapts to your needs and your wants while you stay the same and blame him for all of the problems within the relationship. Because you're not the one changing. You're not the one going to therapy. You're not the one trying to make it work. You're not the one trying to do dates and bring back romance. Your idea of romance is getting him a pair of socks on Christmas and saying happy birthday through text message. Men are consistently filling a woman's cup in the relationship while she's literally breadcrumbing him the entire time, just giving him just enough of affection to make him think that it's something. You don't think there's men out here that haven't been touched or held or loved or even thanked in years, months, all the time, and they're still in the relationship? Is that not symbolic or representative of men that are trying to make it work? And let's not forget the men that are still in relationships because they don't want to lose time with their family, with their children. They know the minute that they get divorced, guess what? Their parenting goes down to 30% because the ex-wife is going to be bitter regardless, because she can't understand how a man could be happy without her, because her covert narcissism is me mentality, and nobody can, if I can't make him happy, then nobody else will. But y'all never want to talk about that. Y'all also never want to talk about the way that you treat your husbands like a child in one point, and you want to treat him like a man in another point, and your emotions are so high and low, and that he's at the mercy of your hormones every 2 seconds. And every time that you lash out at him, every time you're mean to him, every time you can't sit down and have a normal discussion, you want to blame it on your hormones and gaslight that man into thinking that it's his own fault, that he actually ends up apologizing for some shit that he didn't even do. But y'all never ever want to talk about that either. There are just so many things that women do in relationships. They pretend like they're these healed beings, that they're so emotionally intelligent. And just because you have emotions doesn't mean you have emotional intelligence. In fact, most of y'all won't even take the time to understand your boyfriends, your husbands, or your significant others, because actually understanding your husband would actually break your heart, to understand how lonely and depressed and, invalidated he feels on the day-to-day. And y'all don't even want to acknowledge that you're part of the problem. And let's just add to it. Now you got kids involved. Now you got baby daddies involved. And you can't understand why men don't want to take on children that aren't their own. But on top of that, want to take on all of your baggage, while simultaneously understanding that, damn, your baby daddy must have really had a hard time with you if he also didn't want to stay. Okay, bye.
Damn, what a message. This was too good. Raw, real, and straight to the jugular. I'm not going to generalize, but most fit perfectly into what this woman described. Men who break their backs trying to keep a relationship afloat, constantly adapting to ever-changing whims, while she doesn't change a thing, and still blames him for everything. Men who stay in miserable marriages just to be close to their kids, forgiving everything, swallowing it all, just to avoid being alone. Women who emotionally and financially destroy these men, and when they finally manage to get back on their feet and rebuild their lives, they come after them, dragging them through court, using the kids, all out of pure vengeance disguised as justice. This woman deserves a round of applause, because she said what thousands of men are living through in silence. And when a woman says it, it hits harder, because now they can't cover it up with excuses.
Women.
Let me explain to you why that narcissist is not going to change. Simply put, they don't need to. They don't care. I know that is really hard and almost vicious to hear, but it is the truth. If they cared, you wouldn't be sitting there begging this person to change. If they cared, they wouldn't treat you the way that they treat you. And I know that it's extremely hard, especially with narcissists, because in the beginning, they are so kind. They did care. They did try. They did communicate. They did compliment. They didn't criticize you. They were completely different. So it's so hard, because it's not like you met this person like this. You met a completely different person than you're encountering right now. But sometimes we have to stop and we have to see, this is who this person is. Now, am I going to sit here the rest of my life, or even another 5-10 years, and pray to God that they're going to change? Or am I going to accept the fact that, you know what, maybe I don't fully understand it, but this person's not going to change. And I'm not willing to drain my life away waiting for them to change.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
This is the big difference between men and women. If a man chooses the wrong wife, a woman who cheats on him or treats him badly, society blames him. They hold him responsible for his choice, as if he had known from the start how it would all end. But if a woman chooses a narcissistic Chad who treats her like garbage, no one blames her. They blame the man, his childhood, the patriarchy, everyone except her. Responsibility is kryptonite for women, because even though she was the one who fell for the wrong guy, she'll never own up to her part in the mess.
So it turns out my husband doesn't love me anymore. How did I figure this out, you ask? Well, it's quite simple. Every day since we moved in together, I have woken up to a text message that says, "Good morning, my love. I hope you have an amazing day." The only day I don't get this is on Sunday, because he's off. Also, every morning he kisses me on my forehead. It's not anything crazy, but it's like enough to not wake me up too much, but just a little bit to know, like, I love you. So what did I get this morning? Absolutely nothing. Not a text message, not a kiss, not a phone call, not a notification, not a pat on the shoulder. Who hurt you? What did I do to you? Are we fighting? Are you mad at me? Do you not love me anymore? Are we not married? Are we divorced? Like, I don't understand. Is there someone else? Is there there someone else? I guess I'm single? I don't know.
Stop it. Get some help.
Honestly, I don't know what people are smoking in the mornings, because this one must have been strong. One of my uncles is a psychologist, and he used to tell us that if you want a woman to miss you, get her used to something you do in a way that seems unconscious. An example from him with his wife. He was always the first to wake up early in the morning. The first thing he'd do was make coffee at home, then serve that coffee with cream to his wife, and give her a kiss on the forehead with her cup. Then he told us he was away for a few months at a conference, and his wife would always call him and mention how much she missed that simple gesture. Brothers, this works because you mentally reprogram a person's mind to adapt to an action. It might be manipulation, but it really works. Try it.
I don't give a fuck what a man does for work. If he does not come home and contribute to your life, meaning helping you with the kids, helping you with the house, helping you with the laundry, he is not the fucking one, sis. Yesterday I was upstairs cleaning. Now the house was completely destroyed. Like I had a really busy day working, answering some messages, posting content, just really catching up from being gone over the weekend. And then I went upstairs and I started doing laundry and getting all that sorted out. I hear Eric come home and he doesn't come upstairs and say anything to me. He doesn't come up there, tell me hi, kiss me, whatever. So I just finished doing what I'm doing. And then I come downstairs and the entire downstairs is clean. Dishes washed, counters wiped down, the floors are clean, everything is done. And he's in the greatest fucking mood ever. And this is like a reoccurrence. This is the thing this is actually something that happens all the time. Like he just comes home from work and he just cleans the house and he cooks dinner and he does the things that needs to be done so that we can have our time together in the night. And he said, I realized you probably had a busy day. Like you were probably I had mentioned to him that I was like trying to get caught up. And so he realized that. He took into note, like, okay, he didn't just come home and get angry that the laundry wasn't done or that the kitchen was dirty or the dishes or dinner wasn't done. He wasn't mad about any of that. He's just like, you know what, let me just clean up really quick, make some dinner. If you do not have a partner that comes home and it contributes to your fucking life, you don't have a partner. You literally have somebody who is paying your bills and then you're taking care of their kids, or you're basically raising them and taking care of their laundry and their dishes and all this stuff. And if your partner thinks that paying the bills is contributing to your life and that's all they need to do, that's leave. I don't give a fuck what a man does for work. If your man goes to work and he comes home and does nothing, doesn't help with the kids, doesn't help with the house, he is not the fucking one. He's a lazy piece of shit. I don't give a fuck. Everybody is putting in work here. We're all putting in work, okay? I don't give a fuck if you're a stay-at-home mom and that's all you do. You be putting in work all day long. So when he comes home from work, it's time to clock in, motherfucker. It is time to get this shit rolling so that we can all have a peaceful night, so we can all get some rest, so we can all take care of ourselves. I said what the fuck I said.
Oh, hell no!
Personally, as a man, I have no problem helping out around the house with the mess. But expecting me to have more responsibility than a woman who stays at home, that's unacceptable. If he's working to support you, the kids, and pay the bills, then he's already contributing more to your life than anyone else. Are you the one going out to earn the money that comes into that house? No. So don't expect the man to work 8, 10, 12 hours a day and then come home and also have to cook, clean, do laundry, and raise your kids. The ironic part is that if that same man stopped focusing on providing, to spend more time scrubbing dishes, she'd leave him for not being a provider. I'm all for helping out, but if you overload your man, in the end, he won't be able to focus on improving everyone's quality of life.
Women.
I just got married and I'm getting divorced. The thing is that how dumb can they be to cheat on you, but yet not try to cover any of their traces? Which, I mean, I guess I'm thankful that I found out sooner than later, right? Let me break it down and tell you how I found out. Okay, so I have a garden and 3 garden beds, and I was out there pruning my tomatoes and my chiles, and my garden beds are really close to my neighbor's fence, like my next door neighbor's fence. Obviously, I'm not making a lot of sound because I'm just like pruning, and I hear her come out, and it sounds like if she's on the phone. So I'm like, ooh, I want to be a chismosa, you know, type of deal. So I hear her say, like, yeah, but she shouldn't know. because we will both get in a lot of trouble. And it seems like if we both don't want to leave our partners. And I'm like, is the neighbor cheating on her husband? Obviously, I stayed to listen. So it seemed like if the person on the phone was telling her, like, I'm going to leave my partner, or like, I'm leaving, because she was like, no, like, if you leave, that means that I have to, like, where are we going to go? This is just going to be so awkward. And due to us living next to each other, it's going to be a bigger drama. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm thinking, because next to their house, it's like this older couple. And I'm like, really? A sugar daddy? But I mean, everybody has their own taste, but I keep listening. And then I hear her say, but Noel. And I'm like, Noel? That's my husband's name. And it's not a common name. Like, for you to be like, oh, well, the neighbor's name is also Noel. So you might guess what I did next. So I go over and I bang on her door. And she opens and she looks like she just seen a ghost. And I go off on her. I call her all these names and I ask her, since when has it been going on? And she's looking at me terrified. And she's like, no, you're misunderstanding everything. And I'm like, I heard you. I was outside. Like, you're for even going outside when you're the neighbor's husband. And I try to grab her from her hair, but my hands are not strong enough and long enough to hold her. And I'm trying to punch her, but I can't punch her like I can't punch. And I feel so angry. And that's when I wake up. And I'm like, I was heartbroken. I felt broken inside, okay? It felt real. And now, I'm really wondering if my husband's cheating on me with the neighbor.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
These are the kinds of nonsense we men have to put up with. This woman wants to get divorced over a dream. Yes, a dream. She even says it herself. I woke up with a broken heart. It felt real. And just like that, she's questioning her marriage? Just because in her head, her husband cheated on her with the neighbor. And then they wonder why women initiate 80% of divorces. It's because they get divorced over the smallest things. The emotional woman makes decisions based on emotion. And this is the perfect example. Not even a real affair, just a mental movie. And she already wants to destroy her marriage.
Stop ignoring the people you care about. Whether you're ignoring them to process your feelings or you're ignoring them to teach them a lesson. When you are ignoring someone, you're basically telling them, I do not value you enough to give you any attention. Now, here's the thing. When you're upset at someone, it's okay to take time away. You're allowed as much time as you need to process, but you need to communicate that with the person that you care about. The only time that you should be ignoring someone is someone that you no longer want or need in your life. If you are done with someone that you cared about and you've expressed that it's over, you can ignore them. That is a valid boundary that you're allowed to have. But if you care about your children, your partner, your friends, and you are ignoring them either because you don't know how to communicate that you need time, or you're ignoring them because you want to punish them, that is one of the most toxic things that you can do in any relationship. If you cannot process your emotions or your feelings, talk to someone, either a friend or a specialist. All humans need to feel valued, especially by the people that love and care for them. If people are not valuable enough in your life to give them even a response, you are teaching them to heal and live without you. Ignoring people should only be done when you're done with them. Otherwise, it's pretty toxic. Stop that.
I'm not sure if this woman is talking about an active relationship or one that already ended, but she mixes everything into one emotional, illogical rant. In a relationship, of course communication is key. Ignoring your partner to punish them is childish. But if the relationship is over, or if the connection never even happened, then going no contact is completely valid. As a man, you have no obligation to stick around as an emotional crutch or friend. For a woman who didn't choose you, she says ignoring is toxic unless you no longer care about the person. Well, that's the whole point. If there's no relationship, if you're not a couple, not family, nothing serious, you have every right to disappear. You decide who stays in your life. Because if you don't respect yourself first, no one else will.
I am going to save you years of your life by teaching you a lesson that took me years to learn. We only accept the love that we think we deserve. So if somebody is treating you a certain way that you don't like and is perpetually disrespecting you and doing things to you that you wouldn't do to them, it's only happening because you're allowing it to happen in your life. Because people who demand respect, no matter what they feel towards a person, if that other person isn't respecting them in a way that they expect to be treated, they simply remove that person out of your life. No hard feelings. They have the sharpest scissors, and they will use those scissors to cut anything that's causing them chaos in their lives. Like if you're with somebody that's emotionally unavailable for you, like that's weird because I'm emotionally available to myself. I validate my own feelings and you can't validate my feelings. Ugh, ew, remove, cut, sharp scissors. And that is true standards at work because your standards are actually how you treat yourself. And you wouldn't allow any less than from anybody else. So the only reason you're experiencing these things is because you think you deserve it. Love is not enough. It's not about feelings anymore, no matter what you feel towards that person. If they are not meeting the standards that you have for yourself and your own treatment towards yourself, cut. Use those scissors.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
If this is supposed to save me a year of my life, brothers, I feel scammed. How many times have we heard women talk about what they think they deserve? Yet they always end up chasing the 666 of the apocalypse. The man who's 6 feet tall, makes 6 figures, and has a six-pack. This Chad is the one who drives them crazy, takes them on an emotional roller coaster, and in the end, leaves them behind when he gets bored. But everything changes when they hit the wall. In their 30s, the perfect man they think they deserve never shows up. That's when they get a reality check and start lowering their standards. Because the truth is simple, not every woman deserves a man from the top 10%. But until age and the market teach them that lesson, they keep believing they're the exception.
If your man is jealous and constantly paranoid that you're going to cheat or whatever, it's because he knows he's not good enough for you. Think about it. If he was treating you perfectly, why would you have a reason to look elsewhere? I had this epiphany when I met my husband because my husband's never checked my phone or interrogated me, asked me a million questions, or, went through my social media, who you following, who follows you, all that kind of bullshit. He's never said any little jealous remarks to make me feel bad about myself or, told me I couldn't go out with my girls or go on a bachelorette trip. Like, he just isn't that way. And what makes him different than everyone else I've ever been with is that he treats me like a freaking queen and worships the ground I walk on. And he knows that he's the best person for me. Why would he worry that I'm going to go find that elsewhere when I'm already so happy at home? The other reason people are usually paranoid is because they're the ones doing something. My ex was so paranoid about every little thing that I did that he actually hid cameras in our apartment and put a tracker on my car, and he never found anything because I wasn't doing anything. Turns out he was the one lying and living a complete double life behind my back. And so really the paranoia is because he assumed that everyone was like him.
Stop it. Get some help.
There's a difference between being a confident man and being a simp who worships the ground his woman walks on. I agree that cheaters tend to be controlling, but that doesn't mean a man should say yes to everything out of fear of losing his partner. If she wants to go on trips with her friends, come home late every night, and do whatever she wants without limits, you're not in a relationship. You're competing for her attention. Don't be the jealous control freak, but don't be the nice guy who gets walked all over either. A man with options never lives in fear of losing his partner.
So I want to make a point because very often women in relationships will feel like it's wrong for men to like other women's pictures, and then men will claim to not understand why. So first of all, a lot of women feel like their partner doesn't notice any of the changes that they make to their appearance. So they don't notice if they cut their hair. They don't notice if they dye their hair. They don't appreciate a new outfit, and they don't say anything when she gets all dressed up. And we've been told that we shouldn't take that personally because men just don't care about that stuff in the same way that we do. So we're supposed to just brush it off when we ask if they like our new jeans, and they say that they don't notice a difference because they look just like the old ones. And we're supposed to just deal with it when they don't tell us we look pretty, even though we spent hours trying to look pretty for them. However, some of you seem to acquire an intense eye for detail when it comes to looking at a woman other than the one who loves you. You seem to notice that Stephanie from high school is looking better in her bikini, but you don't notice that your girlfriend is working hard at the gym. Maybe you write a comment to Stephanie to tell her she's beautiful, but you haven't told your partner that she's beautiful in 3 years and 7 days. And trust me, you wouldn't like it if she was lusting over random men on the internet either, but you don't have to feel the way that she does because she has enough respect for you not to do it. She feels like you're comparing her to a standard of beauty that's completely unattainable. She doesn't have a professional photographer or a filter, and she doesn't get to pose in front of palm trees because you take her to KFC for date night instead of Hawaii. So you're liking filtered bodies she can't compete with when the reality of her body is stretch marks from carrying your kids and not enough time for herself because of the time she spends on you. So this isn't exactly hard to figure out. You could tell your partner she's beautiful in the time that it takes to like a stranger's picture, and yet you choose to spend that time on someone else.
This woman is right about one thing. A man's currency toward a woman is his attention. Women are addicted to attention. That's why Instagram is the perfect trap for them. And for that exact reason, the last thing a woman wants to share is her man's attention. Dale Carnegie said, "Praise the slightest improvement and every improvement. Be warm in your approval and lavish in your praise." The most beautiful sound for a woman is hearing a compliment from the man she loves. But the same applies to men. How many of these women actually tell their husbands that they find them attractive, that they admire them, that they appreciate them? They want him to make them feel beautiful while they don't lift a finger to do the same for him. The reality is simple. Admiration and respect are key in a relationship. If only one side receives them, the other will eventually disconnect.
If your partner is possessive and doesn't allow you to have the simple pleasures of life, like socializing with your friends, not letting you work, all of these things, it's actually not really cute at all. Don't fool yourself. Don't let them fool you by saying, oh, it's because I love you so much, I'm protective over you. No, this is control. It means they are insecure, obviously, which is an underlying trait of any possessive person. It is their insecurity talking, and it is because they feel that you are out of their league, prettier, more intelligent, I don't know, have a higher education, whatever it may be. It is a toxic trait. My advice to you is to run. Don't think, oh, but he loves me so much, or but she loves me so much. It's regardless. The saying of, if they love you, they set you free, is totally accurate. So it means that they give you a little bit of liberty. I mean, you gotta allow your partner to be themselves. You gotta allow them to have their own life as well. Don't suffocate them. If they're suffocating you, it's a big red flag. So you gotta really do something about it. Don't delay it.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Decision a man can make today is having a woman who doesn't work. I'm not against housewives. If a man can afford it, good for him. But with today's economy, divorce laws, and how little a man's effort is appreciated, keeping a woman at home is a huge risk. Just imagine her watching TikTok all day, absorbing toxic ideas, and if one day she gets bored and decides to leave, the law is completely on her side. For me, it's a bad idea. I'd rather have her contributing to both our finances.
I just woke up and had to tell my sister this, so I'm going to tell you this. If you are a pretty girl, there are always going to be people around you that want to see you losing. If you are an attractive woman, there are always going to be people around you that want to see your downfall. And it is sad. And it is because they are so jealous of you because of the way that you look. And they can believe that whatever you've done, you have not earned. Like, you have gotten it strictly because of your pretty privilege. And jealousy is such an emotion that is so sticky that they might not even know that they're jealous of you or that they're wishing you ill, but it is a real thing. And there can be men who have this, who are jealous of beautiful women. There can be women who are jealous of beautiful women, and they want them to honestly fail. And it is really sad. And so you need to keep that in the back of your mind, that even though you can be really kind and really nice, if you are really pretty on the outside, there are just naturally people who believe whatever you've got, you shouldn't have, and they want to see you lose it.
It's funny because it's true. A woman's worst enemy is another woman. Here we have one complaining that others want to see her fail because she's attractive. But what she doesn't say is that envy among women is the most toxic thing there is. The same ones who claim to support each other are the first to tear each other down. But since they don't want to admit it, they blame men instead. And the funniest part is the narcissism. She thinks the whole world is paying attention to her, when in reality, people are too busy with their own problems to care about her life.
Women.
It's right before the one that go to work.
My boyfriend goes out every single weekend clubbing without me, and he is in his 30s. What would he do?
I would drop him like it's hot, because a man in his 30s is out clubbing every single night is not serious about you, in my opinion. A man in his 30s that is serious about you is going to show you he's serious about you. He's not going to be looking in the clubs for a wife. He's the only thing in the clubs is fun and temporary fun at that. So you're literally going out to have fun with temporary women, temporary moments, to spend money, and you're not going to find a wife in the club. Like, that's not where wives and quality women hang out. So my suggestion is to leave him. I know I would not be entertaining a man that is in the club every single night, even every week, or even once a month with his friends. That's just me personally.
Pretty ironic, coming from a woman in her 30s and at a nightclub. She says that a man over 30 who goes to the club isn't looking for a wife. He's just after temporary fun with temporary women. So what are you doing there then? Looking for a husband between drinks and loud music? If you yourself admit that environment is for 304s and you're still there, then you fall into the same category. You can't criticize the guy for being in the same place you're in. The problem isn't that he goes out. It's that you expect standards you don't even meet yourself. And that, woman, is called a double standard.
How do you guys feel about your guys going to strip clubs? My boyfriend went to one last year on a random night out with a couple of friends. Brackets, it wasn't even a stag do or anything. At the time, we had each other's locations on our phones, and he was on the phone telling me he was at a pub, but I could see he was at a strip club. Later on, I found out he got a dance too. He was there from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m., 5 whole hours. Was I right to be livid with him? We had a huge argument about it, and he didn't seem to think he'd done anything wrong. We've obviously sorted things out since, but I still think about it a lot. For me, it's a big ick. Also, for context, he told me he was going for a couple of drinks and then he was going to come and see me, as I had a really bad day at work. Instead, he spent the whole night watching a stripper dance when he could have come home to me. That last bit hurt.
You know what, yeah? I'm going to tell you this right now. Fuck him off. Out. Goodbye.
Man, you're so quick to say, oh, cut them off,
Do you know
bye.
what? Do I have to start a basic bitch boot camp? Because you're basic bitches. You're putting your standards here. Low. They should be here. No wonder he's treating you like shit. These are your fucking standards. Right here. Low. Embarrassing.
You're acting like he had sex with the stripper. Calm down.
It's okay. Why don't you just go and watch women dance absolutely naked and put their titties in your face? That's fine with me. Are you okay with me dancing naked in front of a room full of men and putting my titties in their face?
It's different. You're naked and dancing. He'll be like, it's like you getting a dance from a male stripper.
It's not the same. Because women, we don't give a fuck. Dicks are ugly. We don't even want them in our face. We don't even give a shit for it, okay? No one gives a fuck for naked men. There's no industry for that. Stop with that. Stop with that. Stop with that.
But you know, there's so many women. Have you not seen like Amber Rose, Cardi B? They go to strip clubs with their man and they're like on the girls.
Are these the people that we're looking at for ideal relationships? Because they're absolutely flops.
flop, seriously.
What, just because she's walking around with McDonald's bag and her man? Like,
But
there's
that's
nothing good
exactly
in that
why they
relationship.
get cheated on, yeah? Right?
Your standards low.
If you're accepting stuff like that,
I don't see Beyonce doing that, and she still got played. Imagine you're doing that. You're gonna get played even more.
So true.
Do you know what I mean? Amber Rose, look, I respect her and everything, what she stands for, but I don't think you're cool. What you're trying to do is be like, oh, look, I'm okay with that. This is nothing to me. Let's go together. It don't mean shit to me. Stop lying. You're lying to yourself.
The respect in the relationship is just gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. Like, where are the boundaries anymore in this day and age? There's no boundaries.
What I would say is, yeah, you are free to go to a strip club every single day of the week. Every single day. How about you go every Friday, Saturday? Guess what? Go single, because I ain't gonna be your fucking girlfriend anymore.
Personally, I'm one of those men who believe a man's attention is like his superpower and he shouldn't be giving it away to just anyone. When a man gets into a relationship, there are things he has to sacrifice, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite about that. The woman is right to be upset. Just like you wouldn't want to see your woman getting private dances from another guy or hanging out in certain places, she doesn't want to see you in spots you know you shouldn't be in either. Brother, remember, your attention is your currency with a woman. If you waste it getting distracted in places with no purpose, don't complain later when you can't build anything solid in your life.
As a girl in a relationship, going to the club is fine, but as a guy in a relationship, it is outrageous. Now just hear me out, right? 9 times out of 10, the reasons a girl goes to the club is different than why a guy does. Girls go to have a nice time with the girls, have fun, and most of the time it isn't even about the actual club, it's the getting ready before, choosing outfits together, doing your makeup together. And when you're at the club, the girls are rejecting guys left, right and centre, and all the friends are helping her. But as a man, what business do you have being at the club? Guys literally decide if they had a good time or not, depending on if they got with a girl or not, or how many pretty girls are at the motive. And unlike girls who stick together, men will literally encourage their friends to go chat to a girl, regardless of whether they have a girlfriend or not. So I don't understand why a guy in a relationship would want to be at the club. Don't get me wrong, I don't mean going clubbing here and there because it's their mate's birthday or something. I'm talking about the guys that are going every week, twice a week, even though they have a girl. And of course, I don't mean all men, because if you truly are loyal, you'll be loyal wherever. So I'm not saying if your man goes to the club, he's a cheater, but I don't know, I just feel like it's weird. Like, I just can't. If my man was going to the club on a regular, I don't think I'd be able to hack it, because like, why are you going?
Stop it. Get some help.
And this, my friends, is a woman showing all the red flags. According to her, it's fine if she goes to the club, but if her boyfriend does, it's outrageous. Excuse me? That's not a relationship. That's a controlling woman with a double standard. She says girls just go out to have fun with their friends. Not even she believes that. We all know they used to go out without a dime and come back drunk. Where did those drinks come from? Who paid for them? And no, it wasn't their girlfriends. And let's be clear, someone who's going to cheat will do it anywhere. You don't need a nightclub to be unfaithful. But don't try to justify your own behavior while forbidding your partners. If you can go out and dance with strangers, your man also has the right to breathe without asking for your permission.
Honestly, the club is in its flop era. It's not giving hot.
I remember I went to go get my nails done, and the nail tech was about 25 years old. And we were talking about clubbing, and I was explaining to her that I literally have not been in the club since 2018, just because I got pregnant at the end of 2018, 2019. I had my daughter, COVID, and here we are today. So I was asking her, I'm like, so what's happening in the club? Like, not that I cared to go, but I'm like, is it fun? Like, how's the music? Because like everything just seems so fast. Like, is there a vibe? And she had explained to me that the club is just not whatever I thought the club still was. Basically, no one dresses up anymore. Ladies are in running shoes. And listen, wear what you want to wear, which is fine. But that was a part of it, like dressing up to the nines. Like, again, older millennial, part of my clubbing days was the business casual outfits. She's like, a lot of the girls are in running shoes. Everyone looks the same. No one is dancing. You absolutely need to have a bottle or people are going to look at you like you're weird. You need to be in a section with your bottle, but you can't really be dancing. Then everyone is filming everybody. So even if you want to let loose and have fun, people are going to film it. You don't know where it's going to go. I was like, so hold on a second. There's no more people like dancing. Like, there's no more little choreo that you would do to dances or whatever songs. Like, there's no more sweating out whatever hairstyle you used to have because, like, the party would just be that lit. Like, I remember in some clubs and also basement jams, like, the walls would be sweating. Like, that's how serious it was. Even to the point where, like, if a dude would come up behind you and be dancing with you, like, you would ask your friends to be like, is he cute? Does he look good? Or sometimes if the wine is that serious, like, your friends would be like holding on to you while you're doing your thing, and his boys would be holding him up. Like, it was a time. It was a time. Basically, she's just like, no, there's none of that. There's none. And I was like, I'm sorry, Gen Z.
Now it's sit down, grab your phone, listen to the music, and order a drink, alone. All the good stuff is gone. A club used to be a place to dance, socialize, and connect with new people. Now it's an ego parade in sneakers, people standing still, and phones recording every second. With harassment laws pushed to the limit, a camera ready to ruin your life, and moody Karens looking for a fight, men have simply stopped approaching. And it's not because they don't want to. It's because the risk just isn't worth it anymore. The vibe turned tense, empty, soulless. What used to be fun is now just appearances and paranoia. Sad, but true.
If you're in a relationship, you have no business being at the club. Now, going to the club with your significant other is completely different. By all means, go to the club with your significant other. Individually, you have no business being there because what are you going there for? And it has nothing to do with trust, nothing to do with any of that. It's the principle of the fact that you should not be in that type of environment. You're not your friends. You're not single like your friends. That's not what we're doing. I'm not single like the rest of my friends. That's not what I'm going to do. I am the type in a relationship, if I don't want my man doing something, then I'm also not going to do it. Whether or not he's okay with me doing it, whether or not he cares, I don't want him doing it, so I'm not going to do it. And I can honestly say I have lost friends over this because I was honest. Because I told them, look, this is how my relationship is, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the club. Like, why would my man go to the club for? For what? To sit in the corner while your friends go talk to females? No. You have no business being at the club at all. Neither do I. And yes, I'm sure you can trust your partner and you can 100% go and just hang out with your girls, but it's about the principle. It's about being in that environment when you don't need to be. You have so many other options to go hang out with your friends. You can go to brunch, you can go get mimosas, you can go to dinner and get drinks, you can go to Topgolf, you can go 1,000 places besides the club. And I would much rather go with my significant other instead because I'd much rather have fun with them and drink with them and get drunk with them. That's just my opinion.
I'll give her this much. At least she holds herself to the same standards she expects from her partner. That's more than what a lot of women do these days. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of going to places where the music is so loud you can't even have a conversation. If I'm going out with friends, I'd rather hit a sports bar, something more chill, maybe a pool table. And if I'm in a relationship, a nice restaurant with soft music is perfect. The point here is simple. There are 1,000 ways to socialize without having to be stuck in a club full of noise and chaos. So brothers, tell me, why don't you go to clubs anymore? And if you do, which ones are actually worth it? Because the vibe has changed, and honestly, not for the better. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about going to nightclubs nowadays? Would you seriously date a woman who's into the club scene? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.